Between 1981 and 1985, the tabletop role-playing industry underwent a rapid evolution. This period, known to historians as the Electrum Age, saw game design migrate away from its amateur, self-published roots toward corporate standardization. The earliest introductory modules of the era, such as B1 and B2, functioned as instructional aids. B1 provided empty rooms for the referee to populate, while B2 clustered diverse monster types in close proximity to teach basic combat. These design choices prioritized mechanical procedures over ecological logic or a unified narrative arc. In December 1983, a new publication departed from that tutorial format. This archival photograph shows Douglas Niles, a former high school teacher who joined TSR's design department in 1982. Niles authored Module B5, Horror on the Hill. B5 presented a complete, unforgiving ecosystem. It demanded rigorous resource management, tactical diplomacy, and survival skills, setting a new standard for commercial adventure design. Horror on the Hill operates by engineering a transition in playstyle mid-game, moving players from a position of tactical control into one of desperate survival. This shift is achieved through structural constraints, specifically high economic tolls and inescapable one-way physical architecture. We can see this structure in this 3D cross-section chart. It reveals 4 distinct geographical strata stacked vertically, from the surface down to the volcanic caverns. As players move downward, the physical descent mirrors increasing psychological pressure, requiring total isolation from the surface. By examining this architecture layer by layer, a clear design principle emerges. Early survival horror is produced by methodically stripping away the player's ability to retreat. The adventure begins at Guido's Fort, a remote settlement perched on the edge of the civilized world. According to Niles, the fort's namesake derives from his home campaign, an homage to comedian Don Novello's character, Father Guido Sarducci. Beyond the fort lies the River Shrill, a formidable 1-mile-wide expanse of water that separates civilization from the untamed wilderness of the hill. Comparing a typical Level 1 party's meager starting gold against the massive 20 gold piece ferry toll, the River Shrill is an economic pacing mechanic masquerading as topography. Each trip across the water sinks the party further into financial deficit, creating a sunk cost scenario. To ensure their expedition yields enough treasure to survive, players are forced to push deeper into the dangerous trails of the hill rather than returning to town to rest. Before the players face a single monster, the module weaponizes basic economics to drive risk-taking behavior. Once players navigate the surface trails, they reach Level I, a ruined ancient monastery occupied by a self-proclaimed hobgoblin king and his gathered forces. Niles designed this level using Gygaxian naturalism. This is a design philosophy dictating that dungeons must operate with internal ecological and logistical logic. This demographic chart reveals a striking anomaly. The population is exactly 100% combat-ready adult males and 0% non-combatants. There are no females or young present because this is an active forward operating base preparing for an invasion.
This level of internal consistency required a design trade-off. It sacrificed the bizarre monster variety players expected, replacing it with a homogeneous military force. Prioritizing factional realism alters the mode of play. The players must abandon the strategy of fighting random creatures and instead execute a tactical siege against an organized enemy. The turning point of the adventure is hidden squarely beneath the Hobgoblin King's throne, a concealed pressure plate. Triggering this plate plunges the party down a steep 300-foot natural stone chute directly into the pitch-black lava tubes of Level 2. Climbing back up this polished stone shaft is mathematically impossible without extraordinary magic or vast continuous lengths of braided rope. The moment they hit the bottom, the tactical infiltration ends. Claustrophobic survival horror begins. This diagram shows the module's 2D map of intersecting lines. Rotating it along the x-axis reveals they are vertically stacked, separated three-dimensional tunnels. The cartography of the era failed to convey this verticality, adding real-world frustration for the referee. The trap succeeds because it shifts the game's critical currencies. Gold and treasure become worthless, while light sources, food rations, and hit points become matters of life and death.
The final descent into level 3 introduces the ultimate gatekeeper blocking the exit, a young red dragon holding court over a tribe of kobolds. Against a low-level party, the dragon is lethal, possessing 22 hit points and a breath weapon capable of destroying the group in a single turn. This scale visualizes the early mechanic of subdual damage, declaring non-lethal intent to capture a monster. While lethal force yields minor immediate loot, subduing the beast rewards the party with a massive influx of gold and magical artifacts. If the players manage to haul a live dragon to the surface, they can sell it for a fortune, or trade it to a local faction of witches in exchange for powerful magic items. By formalizing this subdual option, the module creates a branching path for the endgame. A party might opt for immediate combat, but another could choose a non-lethal capture that unlocks unique trades with the surface witches, leading to distinct rewards and social standings across different play sessions. Returning to the surface brings us back to Gledo's Fort, a location that drew contemporary criticism because it receives barely a paragraph of text and lacks a map. While early reviewers found it sparse, modern historians view this empty framework as a deliberate sandbox tool. It allows a referee to drop the fort into any custom campaign without contradicting established lore. The Sisical booklet carries the transitional quirks of the era, printing older Moldvay-era rules inside the updated Mincer-era corporate trade dress. Through these layered mechanics, Douglas Niles successfully synthesized the thrill of a wilderness hex crawl with the anxiety of resource management. B5 remains a key document of its era because it demonstrates that the most enduring tension in a dungeon crawl is generated by the mechanical constraints of the environment's architecture.